Hello, welcome to Psychic Therapy of the Soul. My name is Rozalia, and I am delivering an Aries New Year tarot reading. I will be using a tarot tracker in which I will put in the description in order to follow 9 questions that we will be looking at this year. All right, awesome. Let's get started. So I've been meditating on you, Aries, for the last 24 hours, 48 hours. Anyhow, you're definitely stepping into your power in the year 2026, especially since Saturn is going to go into Aries at the end of March. And that's going to be the beginning of a major era in which you are starting for all of the zodiacs. So, I'm pretty excited to see where things go. You're starting in the house of self, so the house of self and personality. So everybody is going to be re-identifying their ego, their identity, their personality, and they're going to be stepping into their power and showing up as, hey, this is who I am. This is how I want to lead my life for the next 30 years. So this is kind of exciting because you, Aries, have a big responsibility in the sense that you set the tone for the rest of the zodiacs. You lead the way. So it should be interesting to note that people like power players and leaders in the world are going to obviously take the limelight, especially if their zodiacs are Aries. So it's really important that we really understand who we are and what we believe in and what our truth is and what we stand for, so that we do not follow leaders in which are not aligned with our healthy inner constitution of what a proper society and how health should function, and how a healthy society should function, and how the economy should function, etc. All right, without going too deep into that, let's start and see where we go. All right. So Aries, how are you entering the new year 2026? How are you entering the new year 2026? How are you entering the new year 2026? How is Aries entering the new year 2026? The 9 of Cups with the sun at the bottom. Okay, so you got the 9 of Cups here, surrounded by different types of shells in which were manifested from your heart's desires and all came true. All of these shells gave you the best of both worlds, because when I see this mermaid, she can live in the ocean and she can also live on land. So she got the best of both worlds. If you want to look at this from a very elemental perspective, I see her kind of being able to live in her truth. So being able to live in the air energy, in an objective place, a logical place, a rational place, but then also capable of diving deep into the ocean in her unconscious, subconscious, where there's a lot of depth, emotion, and feeling. So she's capable of really diving deep, and she's also capable of detaching and looking at things objectively, and as a result, she is incredibly fulfilled. She's had her wishes fulfilled, and she's able to live in both worlds. She got the best of both worlds, so she wished for 2 things and she got them. So this is how you're entering the world. This is how you're entering the world. This is how you are entering the new year 2026. Independent. Your wishes are fulfilled. You're proud of who you've become and what you've accomplished. You're, in essence, very happy. So I'm being actually pulled towards her orange hair, which I haven't noticed yet, and I've had her pop up in the other zodiacs. So it really feels like you're following your emotions, your feelings, and you're just kind of letting that grow out. In a lot of cultures, long hair is considered to be like a sensor, meaning like the longer the hair, the more you are intuitive to nature and how it moves. So it's like you've allowed your feelings, you've trusted your feelings to manifest what you truly desire. So you're walking in really happy, fulfilled. All right, so what does this year expect from you, Aries? What does this year expect from Aries? The Ten of Wands. And the Nine of Pentacles in reverse. And then you got the High Priestess. That's really interesting. What do you do? What do you do when you don't feel stable? What do you do when money is not on your side? What do you do when you don't feel confident? What do you do when you don't feel grounded and secure? Because you got the Nine of Pentacles here in reverse, and I'm actually like, was it supposed to fall in reverse? Because I'm not used to seeing the Nine of Pentacles in reverse. I always see it upwards. And Nine of Pentacles is a woman who's incredibly self-sufficient, independent, financially free, secure, and it's reverse. And typically when it's reverse, I see her as a kind of a codependent energy. Like she has yet to find her independence. She has yet to find her financial freedom. She's almost there, but she stumbles a bit. And at times doesn't feel like the universe is on her side, where she has that kind of inner security. But in some way, the Nine of Pentacles in reverse allows you to look within, to gather up that confidence from inside in order to regain that stability. But the question here with the Ten of Wands, which is what the universe, what the year, I mean the universe too, right? What the year expects from you, Aries, is how do you handle, are you responsible when you are faced or put under pressure like this? When you're not fully stable and secure, how do you handle your life? Are you responsible? So I feel like this year expects you to be responsible, to handle your responsibilities, especially when you do not feel like you are fully secure and stable. So let's say, for example, I don't want to manifest this in my own life, but I don't want to manifest this for you, Aries, either. But I feels like it's just like a quiet nudge, because you have high expectations to be very secure and stable. So like, what do you do, for example, let's say, something breaks, like an appliance breaks. Like earlier this year, I had my blender break, my food processor break, and my coffee machine. And, even though I do not like spending money and reducing my income due to unexpected breakage or like things that fall apart, because I was responsible with my savings, I had the money to replace my food processor and my coffee. You know what I mean? So what do you do when you have like a minor setback in which hurts your confidence, hurts your inner security, your inner stability, or what you feel is financially free to you? So the universe kind of expects you to be responsible when things don't go necessarily your way, and to really listen to your intuition as a result. Okay, that's good. What does Aries expect from this year? The Ten of Swords. Wow. I mean, it's really easy to fall into kind of a negative state of mind when things don't go right. So Ten of Swords landed on what the universe, what the year expects from you. It landed on the Ten of Wands and the Nine of Pentacles in reverse, kind of like this. Ten of Swords. So life gives you lemons and forces you to make lemonade, and suddenly you start to expect the worst, and you are in this Ten of Swords energy, mentally exhausted, and you start to think that your whole year is gonna be like that you're not gonna get what you need. I mean, you are the Emperor, so you need to think of every possible disaster, like a backup on top of a backup on top of a backup, in order to make sure that you stay grounded and stable. So I can understand how, Aries, you are being kind of put in a position, especially if you were a boss, which a lot of Aries are, to think of not only the best possible outcome, but the worst possible outcome, so that you are prepared. And that's kind of what I'm feeling here from what you're expecting from the year. The only thing that I don't like about this is that I don't want you going into the year like thinking negatively, like I expect the worst, because like that you expect to be mentally exhausted and wearing that kind of exhaustion on your face. Like he's walking into the year like expecting that you're going to be thrown all of these daggers of other people's ideas, thoughts, and opinions of what you should do, and just kind of wearing it to the point where you've overexhausted yourself with information. Of course, it could be kind of shattering, and you're trying to think of the worst possible case scenario that destabilizes you, but you also don't want to manifest that. Like, you need to trust that you've gotten this far for a reason. Like, you are capable of manifesting this wish fulfillment for a reason, right? Because you kept it positive. Like, you wished for this once and then you got it. So why should you be coming into the new year expecting the worst just because you get a little minor setback that was kind of, it freaked you out a little bit? Okay, so it freaked you out a little bit. Doesn't mean that you gotta expect the worst from the year, you know? So, you know, rest, you know, you're exhausted, rest. You overthought the worst possible scenarios of the year. Now let that go and start thinking positive, Aries, because the rest of the zodiacs need you. Okay, so I'm gonna pull a clarifier. What do you expect from this year, Aries? Show me the Ten of Swords. I just want my dreams to come true. Yeah. Knight of Cups. I just want my plans to come through. Knight of Cups. I just want my dreams to come true. And that's why I'm all negative now, because it feels like no matter what I do, I seem to get hit with a lot of resistance. Yeah, I was feeling that. Lately, you know, it's like the dreams come and then they fall apart. And I just want them to finally come true. I want my plans to finally work out. So that's kind of why. All right. How does Aries need to change to meet these expectations? How does Aries need to change to meet these expectations? So how do you need to change in order to handle a small setback? And how do you need to change in order to recover from this kind of mental exhaustion of I've worked so hard and where are my dreams, and how do I need to change in order to make my dreams come true? So how does Aries need to change in order to meet these expectations? The High Priestess kind of landed on its side here. I'm just going to pull a clarifier. Ten of Wands. Follow your intuition. What's too much is too much. The High Priestess landed like this. Take breaks as needed. Listen to what you're carrying. Look at how he's going up this mountain and he's absolutely exhausted. He's he's carrying way too much. And in the process, he might be starving himself, not giving him the nutrients that he needs. Sometimes we carry just the wands, like all the action that we need to take, but we're not getting anything in return. Nine of Pentacles in reverse. So it's like what you're putting action into, is it giving you a return? And listening to your intuition and learning to put those wands down. Really looking at the detail of what you're carrying and asking yourself, is it worth it? Is it worth carrying all this? What stuff can I put down that is not in alignment with where I'm headed and is not necessary? It's just a waste of time, or it just wastes my energy. Okay, so follow your intuition. Don't deny your intuition. That's how the universe will help you, how the year will help you meet these expectations, and how you need to change to meet these expectations. Okay, how will the universe help you make this change? So we just did, how do you need to change to meet these expectations? Follow your intuition about how much you are carrying and put down what's not working. And now we're looking at, how will the universe help you make this change? Okay, how will the universe help you make this change, Aries? Okay, the Star. The Fool at the bottom. Literally before I pulled this pull here, this card, I was thinking to myself, well, maybe I need to start over. Like, maybe I need to start over. So don't be afraid to start again, start fresh, and to have hope for the future. The Star is all about having hope. It's all about innovation. It's all about being that light in the darkness and not giving up faith. Continue nurturing yourself and keeping that flame going. She's actually doing a ritual here, which I find really interesting. This is kind of like what I like to do. She's giving an offering of what she'd like to manifest for the future. So however you meditate, or you pray, or you do rituals, keep doing those things. Like, stay consistent, you know, make your tea, eat healthy, you know, be healthy, do your activities, ground yourself, self-care. Just don't give up. Like, keep up in your routine and do what you can manage, and don't give up. Keep having faith. It's all about having hope and having faith, and also renewing yourself, so not being afraid to take breaks. So I feel like that's how the universe is going to help you make this change. It's just going to remind you of how far you've come and what you've accomplished thus far, and how you've overcome really hard and difficult challenges in your life. I'm really feeling you, Aries. Like, I don't have Aries anywhere in my chart. It just runs my first house, but I'm a Pisces rising, but it's just kind of in my first house there. No planets or anything. I don't have Aries anywhere, but I feel you like you're me, you know? What aspects of yourself do you keep, Aries? Page of Pentacles and the King of Cups. Awesome. Number 6. So your capability to come back to your happiness and ask yourself what brings you joy, what keeps you feeling vibrant, is actually the solution to your problems, and it's the aspect in which yourself you need to keep. You need to follow your emotions and blow that horn when you need to, in order to get nice and loud about what you need. You're basically calling out to the ocean to bring you what you've been waiting for. Typically, like, we blow our horn in order to get attention to the ships that might be on the ocean coming to shore. And I feel like this is kind of what you're going through here. You're being asked to really listen to your emotions and what feels emotionally supportive to you, and not being afraid to use what you have to go in another direction. I actually find that the detours, the Page of Pentacles is my detour card. And I actually find that the detours that we take in life are a lot more, are a larger return on investment than keeping a straight line. And the reason I say that is because the detours are often where most of the lessons are. People think, okay, you know, some detours are really long and some detours are really short. And we don't really know until we take that detour, you know. The detour is like an off path, you know, it's off the trail, but it teaches us something because we would have normally not gone that direction. And it helps us go down a path that it leads us back to the regular path anyways, but it gives us something more. You know what I mean? It gives us something more, something deeper. So it might feel like you lose time. Maybe sometimes some detours are long and you might feel like you've lost time, but really you haven't. Like, you've learned, you've gained some kind of wisdom and experience that you would have otherwise not gained if you stayed on one path and limited your experience. So this is the aspect of yourself that you need to keep. Don't be afraid to follow your joy and take off-path detours in which are emotionally supportive to you and feel happy. What aspects of yourself, Aries, do you need to release? What aspects of yourself do you need to release? The Justice. Wow. So this is your polar opposite, Libra, 1-7. And I actually started this series with Libra on purpose. So I find it interesting that this is what you need to release. You need to release that aspect of yourself, the Libra. You know, that's actually really funny because yesterday as I was meditating on the Aries, and I'm a Libra, I was feeling like really like confident. And to a point where arrogance, like I even felt very arrogant and even very vain. And you know, Aries has that kind of vanity, and it's not to say that you guys are selfish, it's just that you were the sign of self. You know what I mean? You were the sign of self as opposed to Libra, that is the sign of the other person, partnership. So it's kind of interesting that you're being encouraged to let go of this kind of justice energy of keeping things balanced and fair and kind of making some compromises. And you're being kind of encouraged to walk away from that and probably embody your true identity, which is the self, not being afraid to make yourself the center of attention, because that is your gift. That's your power. So, and that way you would attract things towards you. So you're kind of letting go of that sense of justice in which your opposite Libra pulls you to do, being fair and all of these things. It's interesting. Maybe there's someone that you need to forgive. I mean, there's a woman here kind of walking away from these cups, and it's like you're kind of watching her walk away. Maybe there's someone that you need to forgive. And then you also need to release her. Maybe you have a relationship with a Libra in which you need to let go and forgive. Let's go to the next question. What gifts from the universe will you discover? What gifts from the universe will you discover, Aries? The Two of Wands. Okay, you got the Three of Swords here at the bottom. So whatever this forgiveness is, you really got to face that. the pain that you've maybe caused her or that she's caused you, or and you don't need to take gender specifically. It's just how I'm reading the cards. The Justice is the woman here. You don't have to take gender specifically. It could be a male that you're forgiving. That's a Libra. So you got the Two of Wands here, which is the gifts from the universe that you will discover. Sometimes the ability to I mean, being promised something and not receiving it is probably the most difficult thing. Making a promise that you didn't keep is probably a very difficult thing, and vice versa. And I feel like the gift from the universe is going to be that you're not done. You know what I mean? You're not done. That promise isn't finished. It's still there. You have another wand here in which you can take action on. And the Two of Wands is about planning for the future. Like, what do you want? Like, what do you want to create next? Like, we just gave you an idea. We just gave you something, an inspiration. You know, where are you going to take it? How do you want this to manifest in your life? And are you planning on putting your roots down in another place in the world? Because you got the globe here at the top. Where are you willing to travel next, you know? But giving you the opportunity to just kind of sit in what you have, you know, sit on the tree, which is very sturdy and secure, and ask yourself, what is it that you want next? It might be time to kind of put an end to whatever's not serving you, the sunset, and, you know, take action on what's next. It kind of landed in the middle. It was exactly where it needed to land. But she's looking at all of the responsibilities that you're carrying. Maybe you need to be able to let go of those things and not be afraid to release it and let it go and take action on something new. So I feel like there's going to be a lot of kind of reflection this year for you, Aries, and you know, when you're taking these detours, it might open things up to you, making you realize that you can take more risks than necessary. Like, you can take a lot more risks. Because if it doesn't work, then the universe will bring you something else to plan for, to rediscover. Because eventually you don't want to carry all this weight. Like, eventually you don't want to carry all this weight. I know that Aries is the emperor if he's the boss, and the bosses are always the ones carrying the most weight because they have everybody kind of leaning on them or looking to them to keep them all secure, and it's a big responsibility. But if you can't handle that responsibility, you need to be incredibly honest with yourself. Who will you become, Aries, as a result of this journey? The Hermit. That's so nice. It's actually the cover of the deck. It's a deck about reflections, and it's really apparent now. So you're going to become the Hermit after this year's journey, probably because all of your decisions are going to make you lead towards a deeper understanding of yourself. It's going to make you ask things like, why am I doing this? And am I trying to prove something? Am I not trying to prove something? Am I happy? Has this situation bring me stability? Are my dreams coming true? Have I given up on my dreams? What am I holding on to that I can let go of? Who do I need to forgive? What pain am I still holding on to? How can I free myself? How can I move on from this? It feels like a lot of releasing. And I mean, you need to do that. You need to do that before Saturn makes its big debut into Aries next year. So you got the first 3 months of the new year to focus on really releasing. Because when you step into the new year and you step into that kind of new cycle, you need to be really grounded and know exactly what you want. You need to not be afraid to take risks, and you need to not be afraid to release the pain. So you're going to become the hermit, someone who deeply reflects on who they are, someone who deeply reflects on what they want, someone that goes deep into the forest and just releases everything and just allows insight to come towards them. The hermit is about seeking enlightenment. It's about finding that light that's inside you that guides you through the darkness when things are not really apparent to the naked eye. All right, that's it, Aries. Thank you.